Hello, everyone. My name is Emmy Lam, and today I'm going to bring all of you to explore national parks. So let's start. I'm going to bring up my PowerPoint. So now everybody should be able to see my PowerPoint. Okay, well, exploring national parks. So you will learn what to prepare before you go to the parks, the history and culture of the parks, the basic geology of the parks, animal, plant, and nature of the parks, the points of interest of the parks, the conservation and the preservation. And of course, there will be a lot of pictures. So what is national park? Anyone? National park is an area set aside by a national government for the preservation of the outstanding scenic feature or natural phenomena. Most of the landscapes and their plants and animals in a national park are kept in their natural state. The national parks in the United States tend to focus on the protection of both land and wildlife. This is the map of the national parks in the United States. So how many national parks in the United States? Did you just count? Well, we have 63. So these are all the 63 national parks. The one that highlighted with yellow are the newest one. So in 2018, we have the Gateway Arch in Missouri. 2019, we have the White Sands in New Mexico and also Indiana Dunes in Indiana. And the newest one is 2020, New River Gorge in West Virginia. So how did national park come along? By the Act of March 1st, 1872, U.S. Congress established Yellowstone National Park in the territories of Montana and Wyoming as a public park and placed it under exclusive control of the Secretary of the Interior. The founding of Yellowstone National Park began a worldwide national park movement. Today, more than 100 nations contain some 1,200 national parks or equivalent preserves. You guessed it right. Yellowstone National Park was the first national park in the world. On August 25, 1916, President Woodrow Wilson signed the act creating the National Park Service. The National Park System of the United States now comprises more than 400 areas covering more than 84 million acres in 50 states. And there are 63 national parks across the United States. And these national parks are places of natural significance that are protected by the government against development and are visited by many tourists every year. Total visitor to the national park in 2017 alone was over 330 million people. So about 1.5 billion visitors in the past 5 years. The largest national park. Have anybody thought about which one's the largest national park? So in the United States, there are 12 national parks that exceeding 1 million acres. All right, this is the answers. Do you notice that many of them are in Alaska? Yeah, Alaska is huge and gigantic. And there are a lot of national parks in Alaska, and they're all over 1 million acres. So let's see California. We do have one, the Death Valley in California is 3,400,000 acres. The Centennial Celebration. The National Park celebrates 100 years anniversary on August 25th, 2016. With the passion of national parks and adventure, Kansas City and Utah couple visited all 59 national parks in celebration of the National Park Service Centennial anniversary. So at that time, in 2016, we we had 59 national parks, but after that, there are more national parks added to the list. So that's why now we have 63. So at that time, at the 100-year anniversary, there were 59 national parks. And let's see how they do it. Yep, the camper van. They had a camper van and they were just driving to all the national parks to celebrate the anniversary. How cool is that? All right. So what do we need to do before we go to national parks? So I give you some tips for your preparation. First of all, research. You need to know the distance, right? Every national parks are different. The size of the national parks. How much time do you need to drive there if you're driving there, right? So the distance, the driving time within the park, not only driving to the park, but within the park. Some parks are bigger than the others. Sometimes, you have to drive like 3-4 hours to finish the whole park, or some maybe just 1 or 2 hours. The fees and accommodation. Yeah, every park, the fees are a little bit different. And accommodation. Some of the parks, they have lodging inside the national park and some they don't. So those are the things that you want to research before you go to a national park. And what to bring? Well, clothing, hat, sunscreen, sunglasses, flashlight, whistle, binoculars, food, drinks, backpack, cooler, etc. Right? And especially if you're visiting national park in the summer or maybe even in late spring, you want to probably wear some clothing that is comfortable, but maybe long sleeves so you won't get sunburned. And you want to have visitor center phone number at hand just in case you need help or emergency or you get lost. And talk to a ranger before you begin your journey. A lot of time people want to like to visit the visitor center and let the ranger know that, oh, well, I'm going here, I'm going there, then the ranger can know that you are in the park and then you can safely begin your journey. So now let's have some fun. Well, I'm going to bring you to 3 national parks today. So the first one, it reached to Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming. Can anybody tell me which national park is it? You guessed it right. Yellowstone National Park, which is the first national park in the whole wide world, right? So let's go visit Yellowstone National Park. And you can see this picture is really famous picture that when you see this picture, you know that is Yellowstone National Park. So Yellowstone National Park, let's talk about some fun facts. It's the world's first national park established in 1872 and covers 3 states, Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho. Yellowstone National Park is larger than the state of Rhode Island or Delaware, so it's pretty big. And people have spent time in the Yellowstone region for more than 11,000 years. Many Indian tribes and bands use the park as their home, hunting grounds, and transportation route prior to and after European American arrival. So over 4 million visitors visit the park in 2017, and about 90,000 photographic prints and negatives have been produced about the park. What about the geology? It is a super active volcano. Yes, when you go to visit Yellowstone National Park, you're walking on a super active volcano. About 1,000 to 3,000 earthquakes annually. Can you imagine that? The park has 60% of the world's geyser, as well as hot spring and mud pump. It has more than 300 geysers, and it has more than 290 waterfalls, 15 feet or higher, flowing all year round. And the park comprises of numerous lakes, canyons, rivers, and mountain ranges. At an elevation of 7,733 feet above sea level, Yellowstone Lake is the largest higher altitude lake in North America. And what about the animal, plants, and nature? It is also home to diverse wildlife with the largest concentration of mammals in the lowest 48 states, including grizzly bears, wolves, bison, and elk. Over 5,500 bison living inside the national park. And forests cover roughly 80% of the park, and lodgepole pines comprise nearly all the canopy. And majority of the trees grow up to 75 to 100 feet tall. Can you imagine how tall are they? And fire has been a key factor in shaping the ecology of the greater Yellowstone ecosystem, and lightning may ignite dozens of forest fires during a single summer. Now, let's get to see some pictures. So when you first arrive at Yellowstone National Park, you see signs to let you know where you go to the entrance. So let's see. So after you enter the entrance, you'll see a beautiful Madison River. It's huge, it's cold, but it's amazing, it's gorgeous. And this is what the lodgepole pine look like. They are super, super tall and skinny. So this is some of the geysers that you will see in the Yellowstone National Park. So they all have different names, and there's a lot of nature trail. So we have the Loris Geyser Basin. It's a beautiful, beautiful basin. That is, the color is amazing. And yeah, you can see the smoke that came out from the geyser is all year round. And now this one is a Midway Geyser Basin. This is the one picture that probably people see a million times. And it is true. It is like this brilliant color. And this is the Old Faithful Geyser. So why is it called Old Faithful? You guessed it right. That means every single time, at a certain time, the geyser will come out. And so it's very easy for the national park to predict when the geyser will happen. So they will have the time, the schedule of the geyser that's about to happen, and they will list the schedule. So let's say 1 p.m., 3 p.m., 5 p.m. Then the visitor will know ahead of time, and then they will gather at the area. And guess what? At 1 p.m., 3 p.m., 5 p.m., you will see the geysers dancing. And this is called the roadside geyser. So roadside geyser is pretty fun. You just drive, and they are just right next to you. And actually, the mist that came out the geyser are cold. So they are not hot at all, and it's harmless. So this is the Mammoth Hot Spring Terrace. It's really, really pretty hot spring terrace. It's gigantic. This is also a very famous point called Artist Point. A lot of artists, they like to get there and then draw and paint. So that's why it's called the Artist Point. Now, this is the Yellowstone Lake that we're talking about at the higher altitude in North America. It's a beautiful, beautiful blue color lake, and it's really, really huge. And especially when you took the boat and you just, they would take you out to the middle of nowhere in the lake, and you can't see anything around it but the water. But it's a really beautiful lake. And right next to the lake, there's a lake hotel. It's a historical landmark, and it's also a really beautiful hotel. It's overlooked the lake. And now you will see some mud volcano. Can you see on the right-hand side of the picture, did you see something next to the mud volcano? Yeah, that is a bison. And what is the bison doing over there? I think this bison is so smart that he is actually have a mud spa right next to the mud volcano. You see a lot of bison. You see some badger. You see owls. You see a lot of different animals. And of course, there's a lot of beautiful nature in the Yellowstone National Park. A lot of beautiful flowers and the green field. It is just amazing. And I love Yellowstone National Park. So now let me take you back to come here, California and Nevada. So can you guess which national park cover California and Nevada? That's right, Death Valley National Park. Death Valley National Park is a very, very unique national park. So fun fact, the park is on the border of California and Nevada. The Timbisha Indians live in the park for centuries. It's an average of 1 million visitors annually. It is North America's driest and hottest spot. It is considered one of the hottest places on Earth. It holds the record for the hottest temperature ever recorded in the planet, topping out at 134 degrees Fahrenheit on July 3rd, 1913. The ground gets even hotter than the air. At Furnace Creek near the center of the park, the ground temperature was recorded at 201 degrees on July 15, 1972. Can you imagine 201 degrees and you're walking on the ground with 201 degrees? Oh my God. So how about the geology? The park covers over 3 million acres of Mojave and Great Basin desert terrain, with elevations ranging from 282 feet below sea level, which is the lowest dry point in North America, Badwater Basin, to 11,049 feet on the summit of Telescope Peak. Death Valley's oldest rocks formed at least 1.7 billion years ago, and park formation formed by countless volcanic activities, earth crust movement, erosion, and deposition. And Hubihidi craters consist of 13 overlapping volcanic craters. It is a potential active crater and ranked as a moderate threat volcano. Yeah, do you know that we actually have an active volcano very close to California? There are sand dunes, craters, floodcraft canyon, and basin in the park indicates that that valley has experienced a lengthy and complex geologic history. What about animals, plants, and nature? Because ships are able to go without water for several days. Do you know that? So when water becomes available again, the ship can drink several gallons at a time and not able to fully recover. And yeah, they do have rats they call kangaroo rats. The kangaroo rats are perfectly adapted to the extreme environment. They do not need to drink water their entire lives. They can survive on water digested from their city vegetarian diet. And salt creek pupfish withstand harsh conditions that would kill other fish. Hot water up to 116 degree and cold water down to 32 degree. It currently classified as endangered. And where water is available, an abundance of vegetation is usually present. So let's tour the Death Valley National Park. So again, how do you know you arrived at Death Valley National Park? It's when you see the sign, right? The sign will indicate that, yeah, you are getting into the Death Valley National Park. So before you get to the entrance, you will see the Timbisha Short-term Tribe sign And yes, there is Indian tacos, shaved ice, and you can get something to eat before you go into the park. So when you go to the park, you will visit the visitor center, the Furnace Creek Visitor Center that we talked about earlier. And yep, it was the hottest place on earth at 134 degrees Fahrenheit. And the Furnace Creek elevation is 190 feet. And look at the temperature that I was there on that day, the different temperatures throughout different part of the park. And it's really hot. Well, the geology is so beautiful. Even though you don't really see green, you see brown, but it's absolutely gorgeous. This is called the Golden Canyon Trail. Yes, it's true. When you actually get in there, it looks like a golden color. It depends on how the sun shine on the canyon, but it's absolutely gorgeous. And then you will also get to see the Devil's Golf Course. Can you see all this round thing? They look round. They look like golf ball. So that's why it's called golf course. But they're actually all salt. They're very, very salty and very dry. And now you go all the way down to the backwater basin. And this is the 282 feet below sea level. It is absolutely gorgeous. Yes, a lot of salt, but it's just beautiful. And then there's the other area that you can go to. It's called the 20 Mule Team Canyon. It's another canyon, but it's a gorgeous, gorgeous canyon. And Zabriskie Point is definitely a place you don't want to miss when you go to Death Valley National Park. It's absolutely incredible. Now you can also go to see the Harmony Borax Works. So this is used to be a borax mine in Death Valley National Park and no longer working, but they preserve it as the historical site so that people can actually check it out, how they produce the borax and how they use the mill to transport the borax. This is the Salt Creek Trail that we talked about earlier, that you will find those puffish. But those puffish is in there. You see the water? They are in there. They are very, 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 very tiny, but they are in there. They are alive and they are so active inside those water. And this is the Ubehebe crater. I love this crater. So amazing. And you can walk all the way down to the crater. The only thing that is when you walk up, back up to, where you started, that was a challenge. Yeah, but walk down is very easy, but walk up is a little bit challenge. But it's really, really pretty. And you will also see sand dunes as well. Exactly. So it's beautiful sand dunes, and you can walk, you can run on the sand dune. And yes, it's extremely hot. The sand are very, very hot. So they always, actually, a lot of places in Death Valley National Park, they will have a sign to let people know, well, be careful, it's hot. And one of the things that was actually a bonus to this trip to Death Valley National Park is the Mosaic Canyon Trail. Can you guess what a leaf stone made of? They are marble. Yeah, you'll find a marble inside the desert. It's absolutely beautiful and it's so cool. So this is the thing that you will see on the ground, yeah, because they were so hot. So there's a lot of flaky soil came out, flaky ground, right? And again, there's a sign that heat danger, extremely hot. However, they do have beautiful vegetation and flowers inside the Death Valley National Park. So there's always beauty everywhere where places that is unexpected. All right. So now how about we fly through the ocean? Okay, we're going to fly over the Pacific Ocean and now we're going to Hawaii. So Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. Have you been there before? Well, let's see some fun facts. There are 5 volcanoes on the Big Island of Hawaii. And the park are home to the Kilauea and Mauna Loa, the 2 most active volcanoes in the world. It was the first national park in the country to be established in a territory. It has 2 different types of lava, aha lava and poopoo. Polynesians are the native people who live in Hawaii. It is also home to the largest dragonfly in the United States. More than 2.5 million people visit Hawaii Volcano National Park each year. It's a very popular national park. And what about the geology? Hawaii is geologically a unique place on Earth because it is caused by a hotspot. Hotspot is an area in the middle of a crustal plate where volcanism occurs. There are few hotspots on Earth, and the one under Hawaii is right in the middle of one of the largest crustal plates on Earth, which is the Pacific Plate. Hawaii Volcano National Park includes the summit of Mauna Loa and Kilauea, and the active eruption area. Majority of lava flows and vent deposits in the park are younger than 750 years, and volcanic rocks dominate the geology of the park. What about animal, plants, and nature? The island's most noticeable large native animal is the Hawaiian goose. It is also honored as the state bird. How interesting is that? And sea turtles are the only native reptile in Hawaii. They exist in abundance of the island of Hawaii and in the park. And there are other natural phenomena such as lava tubes, sea caves, earth cracks, pit craters, volcanic vents, rift magma chamber, etc. And there are abundance of vegetation in the park. So let's go into the Hawaiian Volcano National Park. So first, you will go to the visitor center. You want to probably get a map, right? Because you want to drive around the national park. You want to check out, what you can see in the national park and what happened that day, right? Is there any lava coming out? Or what happened to the volcano? So you do want to visit the visitor center first. And the ranger can tell you what is the condition of that day. So now when you get in there, you can walk the lava tube. Okay, you go to the lava tube entrance and you can walk to the lava tube. It's really, really cool. And then you want to do the Crater Rim Trail. You can drive around, you can walk. They have trail you can walk, and you can go to the overlook. So use overlook to see the ocean. And also when you walk around, there's a lot of vents around you as well. So there's a lot of smoke come out from the vents. So you know that you're actually walking on an active volcano, just like the Yellowstone National Park. Yeah, they're all active volcanoes. And you can do a crater rim drive. This is definitely the drive that I will highly recommend. It's so cool. And you can stop. You can stop anytime, take picture. And do you see some sign over there? Like let's say, for example, there's one sign in the middle. It's a May 1973 lava flow. They actually puts a sign on the road and to let you know what happened at that area at certain time. And yeah, Can you see this is the lava? Okay, when it cool down, it becomes black color, right? And of course, nobody can have any control of the lava flow. This is nature. So we just have to let it flow whatever direction it wants to. So you can see the first picture on the right that the lava actually flow, cover the road, right? And you can see the middle sign. You see the sign road closed, and the lava actually forces itself to just go through that sign as well. So you have no idea how the lava is going to flow until it stops, right? So you can also see that, you can walk on the black lava flow. And if you see the bottom picture on your left-hand side, do you see this, the lava with some fire, right? And then not that far away, you see some cars, and also that is a ranger station, mobile station. Okay, so the lava came very, very close to the mobile ranger station, and they would just let it, let it die down by itself. Yeah, so this is how active it is inside the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. And this is the Kilauea volcano that you can actually do different activities to check it out. So some people, they like to maybe take a helicopter ride, right? Or some people, they take a boat ride to see the lava flow. And yeah, this is, again, it is an active volcano. So sometimes people ask me, oh, does it always like this? The lava bursts out, from the volcano. So you always can see this bright color of lava. No, not all the time. That are like that, but they definitely there. Sometimes they're probably under the ground that you can't see, but you only can see the smoke. But sometimes, a lot of time, you can probably see the color as well. All right. So I hope you enjoy these 3 national parks that I prepared for you. So now talk about the conservation and preservation. It's starting with all of us. So we respect the park and follow instruction. Respect the wildlife and the natural environment. And trail preservation and protect the park for future generations. So it's all begin with us. So as long as we preserve the park, then the generation that come after us, they can also enjoy the beauty of the national park and beauty of the nature. So I hope you enjoy the national park presentation, and just go out and experience and explore this amazing world. And thank you again for staying here with me. And I hope you're going to find something amazing and something you like in the national park, and have a wonderful, wonderful time and wonderful summer. Bye.